All right, good morning, everybody. It is exactly 9 o'clock. A pleasure to have you on board. Thanks so much for tuning in this morning and being part of the Aired Out Podcast, live from the ASB Financial Studios and Fly on the Wall Productions Main Street in Barrie. We have, as you can see right now on your screen, a beautiful day in Vermont. Vermont weatherman Roger Hill is with us. Good morning, my friend. How are you?
Hey, JD, I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Absolute pleasure to reconnect with you. You and I have shared so much time on the air together over the years, and it's good to be back with you, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm a little bit burnt out because I've had to work the forecasting that I do is for, radio stations, Radio Vermont Group, as well as consulting with the roads and schools around my immediate area, as well as my main kind of billing, you might say, is with the Vermont Utilities. And I'm going to be retiring from that on the 1st of July. So I'm highly looking forward to releasing that part of my work. I'll be still working for the radio stations, and I'll be still having to keep track, of course, what goes on. But needless to say, I have to, work for weather hazard forecasting. And indeed, we just had a major storm system that produced quite a bit of power outages along the western slopes of the Green Mountains, with the flow of air interacts with the greens and down slopes and causes power outages. And so I won't be having to worry about that too much. Of course, we're entering a different season. We'll lose the gradient wind aspect, the strong gusty winds due to the pressure gradients, areas of low pressure and whatnot. But we will start to encounter more and more thunderstorm activity. This is the season, and everybody's kind of looking forward to spring and starting to see things green up a little bit since we've had pretty much stick season. How about yourself?
Well,
how you been doing?
Absolutely insane over here. It is so busy here at the Aired Out Podcast. But listen, congratulations on freeing up a little bit of time for old Roger Hill. My God, I mean, you've been doing that for a long time, Raj.
2007 for the utilities, and let's see, in 1998 going back to Radio Vermont. And I've had a full schedule. It's been, it's one of these things where if the weather systems, the storm systems land on the weekend, or let's say early in the week, I have all the heavy lifting is usually the 2 days, 3 days out, and then continuing right up during the storm. So it puts me having to work weekends quite a bit. And I counted up weekends that I've worked this winter. I've only had actually 5 weekends off the entire winter. So I'm kind of crispy fried, and I'm very much looking forward to the retirement. But I will be going on vacation, not this next week, but the week after. And so I'll be getting a little bit of time off there and recharging my battery, shall we say, in the confines of around 7 north latitude down in Costa Rica, where I can watch, tropical thunderstorms and hang out with the snakes and lizards and beautiful blue ocean and whatnot, right?
I was going to ask you when the last time you went on vacation was. So it's
November. I have not had much time off going back all the way through November. And what's been throwing a kind of a real monkey wrench into this, and of course, and I'm sure it's been this way with everybody else's schedule, but it's COVID. COVID-19 has really caused probably the last couple of years, because my business model is to take about every quarter or every third to take some time off. And I just have not been able to do that because of our COVID situation and what it is. So, things are a lot better.
Now, Roger, what time do you begin your day? I know that Mother Nature is not a 9 to 5 thing. She hits when she wants to hit, so you really don't punch in and punch out. But what's a typical day that you begin and you get on the Radio Vermont Group?
Well, the Radio Vermont Group is more standardized because we go on air. Of course, my first broadcast is about 6:10, so I'm pretty much in the morning, and I'm a kind of a morning guy. I get more done between the hours of about 4:45 and 6 o'clock in the morning, oftentimes than I do the entire rest of the day, except for the afternoon suite. 3 to 4 o'clock, I'm busting pretty good then. But there's a lot of in-between time, so consequently, yeah, the Radio Vermont group is 610 at WDV, and then, WLVB up in Morrisville, Stowe, 94.9, Vermont Country radio station 94.9, as well as WCVT, working with Zeb, and it's a full gamut based just on the media side. But boy, you put on weather hazards for snow and snow removal for schools, flooding, icing, freezing rain, travel issues. It's a full load, and I'm highly looking forward to getting out of it.
I'm sure. How long have you been doing this on the radio with just the Radio Vermont group alone? When did that start?
1998. Yeah. There was a brief period I did. I'm ex-National Weather Service, so I went back and worked at the Burlington office for a couple of years and decided, this is not really what I want to do. So then I went back into Radio Vermont about 1999, 2000, and kind of moved a little bit closer to the Burlington area from Marshfield, originally where I lived, in Marshfield Village. Wonderful old house, old farmhouse there. And then we sold that and then kind of got closer to Burlington due to the fact that the drive is just too much. And so consequently, I live in Worcester, and ever since then, have a beautiful piece of property on sort of the eastern slopes of what we call Big Dumpling and Little Dumpling Hill. It's kind of an outcropping along the a little bit east of the Worcester Range and kind of high altitude. Great place for a weatherman, lots of views, and I like the wildlife and being out in the woods out here, and it's a little more wilder. A lot of lightning strikes around this particular area, so it's it's built for Roger Hill, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, so many of us have seen your videos that you take and listen to your commentary, Weathering Heights. I'm imagining like this mad scientist down in his basement with his weather station all set up. Is that what it's like over there?
Basically, it's kind of I don't have a basement, but I have a slider that goes outside, so I'm in and out frequently. And I kind of believe if you're going to forecast the weather, you got to be in the elements and sort of sample it yourself. And then, using the great technologies of computer modeling today, and all the tools that we have, various radar, satellite telemetry, surface observations. I use a drone. I do all kinds of particular things. I have a lot of little whistles and bells that, little tools that help me, that keep me a little ahead of everyone else, I think. So situational awareness is what it's all about. But I do have a slider. I can go out of doors. I'm sort of in a basement, but not quite, because it's kind of a half step kind of deal.
And your wife puts up with all of this?
Yeah, she, since COVID, she's been home. My wife works from the Department of Labor, and she's retiring also in July. So the combination of both, myself and her, it's going to open up some free time. And of course, we have grandchildren, and they need help with that. So there's going to be probably a lot of babysitting involved, grandchildren kind of deal. But I'm going to still keep on working the old radio station. So folks that were getting information from me via the email list that I send out frequently will have to listen on the radio, I guess.
Yeah. Now, when the shit is hitting the fan and you're just mad crazy, does she know just to leave you alone, just keep a distance?
Oh yeah. And short of death, I have to just keep my focus on my job. I don't have a lot of time, and so it is. It is what it is. We're almost near 45 north latitude. A lot of weather changes, a lot of fluid, a lot of moving parts, and it'll keep you very, very busy here in the Northeast, New England, compared to other places in the country. Now, back in my earlier National Weather Service career, I'm originally from California, so I was born and raised in L.A. My father was an aerospace engineer, so we moved around a lot from one job to another. He was a technician or engineer that basically did the rocket engines that Gemini project, Apollo, and others this is back in the 60s and 70s. And so I got moved around a lot, so I kind of messed up on my math. And I never got a full degree in meteorology because of the math requirements. So I was always a little behind on that, but I decided to go ahead and just learn myself. And I found that the road that I took actually made me better because I had to learn everything without using, except for math. I don't really have a great math background. So differential equations and all of that stuff to get a degree in meteorology, I just never got there. But my experience is better for me anyway in this particular route that I've taken. I would have preferred probably to be signed on to be a full meteorologist, have the title meteorologist, but hey, I've been working in meteorology, forecasting weather for over 40 years now, and my peers look to me as a meteorologist, so I guess that's what counts.
Well, I would say that most Vermonters look to you for critical information. And what's great about you, Raj, is you don't just give the weather forecast. You're giving really important stuff, really important information for Vermonters who need to know about, when to cut that first hay and, and the second one too. I mean, you're always thinking about that. You're always thinking about mud season and back roads and icing and all that stuff. Not
sugaring.
Sugaring. Yeah, that's like one of the biggest things that you do, man.
Well, I'm trying to give information to people, with the skill that I have, the available skill there is, to everything under the sun, what affects people. I mean, I'll get a call from a farmer who needs to cut hay, has been waiting to cut hay, and they need 3 days of dry weather, or 2.5 days technically. It can be raining when they cut it, but it has to dry out, and it can't rain on that hay. It's a very critical element. So it's a tricky forecast, and they're calling me on a personal level. I get a lot of calls like that, and in email. And in the same day, I'll get a call from somebody who is looking at their water table lowered, and now their spring's dried up, and they want to know when the next time it's going to rain. And so it's everything under the sun and in between. I mean, somebody's golf game versus they're going to be able to play tennis, at 2:00 in between the line of thunderstorms that rolls on through. And weather is fully packed up here, and it's very, very changeable. And changeable weather gives one the opportunity to have an occupation like I do. If the weather was really settled, and back where I'm from is, California, as I mentioned, I kind of bobbed around different parts of the West, and the weather forecasting out there is about 10 times easier. It is much, much harder here in the Northeast United States. And I would say pound for pound, this area of north central Vermont is one of the hardest areas to forecast because it has so many niches, because we have elevation changes, valleys that are north-south facing, mountain ranges that are perpendicular to the flow and causes different things, and this and that and the other thing.
Yeah, and it's like the old expression in New England, if you don't like the weather, wait a minute. And, recreation is huge, too. Going into the summer months, boating, what have you. A couple of weeks ago, Raj, there was a line of storms that was moving across, I think, like southern New York, Pennsylvania area that had some real serious tornado warnings that were involved. I'm not sure if you remember that. It was a couple of weeks ago, but there was some concern whether or not it was going to be kind of fizzling out by the time it made it into Vermont.
Yeah, I remember a couple of those bouts. I mean, we've had so many of them now. They're all kind of running together in my mind. I don't know if you've noticed, but the area basically from about Texas, Oklahoma east to the almost into the Middle Atlantic states has just been raked after each storm system setting up and recharging with, a flow out of the Gulf of Mexico, cold air behind the low, the frontal clash, and boom, you got mesoscale thunderstorm activity that pops up, and you get, meso lows in these things that then drop what we call a funnel cloud, and then a tornado all the way onto the ground. And of course, that's happening in the south now, and that's going to be coming north gradually as it does. And eventually it's going to get into our neck of the woods as we get into the summertime, we get more heating. But all of those parameters, it's been very, very busy in the southern United States, and they've seen one of the worst tornado outbreaks just consistently just this spring. And we're not even into the heart of the spring of the tornado season, which is typically about this time going into Memorial Day.
I've got a tin roof on my barn, and yesterday afternoon it was so loud, that ice pinging off the roof. It was unbelievable. Everybody pretty much got nailed from that dare I
the
say,
sleet
the
that's falling,
sleet.
yeah.
What? Give us a forecast here, Raj, for the next couple of days. I know we've got wet weather that really started kind of yesterday, but it's going to be damp here for a little while.
Yeah, so right now it's about the dampest the day's going to be. The good news is that things are going to improve once we get into the late morning hours. We have kind of a band of rain showers swinging through right now. On the other side of that, you have to go into like central New York and over toward Binghamton and a good portion of Pennsylvania. There's clear skies. And that clearing sky is going to be working its way toward us. It's a little blob of drier air. That drier air is going to be pulled in, kind of rotating and wrapping in around an area of low pressure that's over the Great Lakes. It's a big upper level low. It's a big swirl, and that's kind of the controlling influence. But we're going to have a little drier batch of air come in, and that means we're going to get some breaks in the clouds later this morning. Once the rain showers move out, you're going to notice things start to change up, and some sunshine is going to break out, and probably by the end of the day, we're looking at probably partly to mostly sunny skies with decent amounts of sunshine, and then mostly clear skies for the evening hours, and then more clouds will roll in with the next kind of disturbance embedded within this general larger swirl, if you will, that's over the Great Lakes. Now, this will be affecting us over the entire weekend as we have kind of that next disturbance working in on Saturday. More rain, expect kind of conditions like you're seeing right now. That's kind of moved into the Vermont area. Well, that's going to be the rule probably on Saturday. We're going to imitate that again. And similar temperatures, too. It's going to be a little bit colder, and there's going to be a little sleet mixed in at times, a little bit of combination of sleet or possibly even grapple, which is kind of this sort of soft hail that we typically get in the springtime, and it's more of opaque, it's more white. So we'll start to see some of those bits and pieces kind of mixed in with the showers during the afternoon tomorrow, and then the same kind of thing on Sunday. But once we get into this area of low pressure, this big swirl in the upper levels pushes off into the Maritimes, we're going to be on the backside of that system, and high pressure will build in, and it's going to set us up for a beautiful Monday.
Yeah. Time to get the motorcycle out next week if you haven't yet?
You know, I'm thinking you might want to do that because temperatures as we get into Tuesday and especially Wednesday, we're going to be in the 60s, and it's not just a spike, out ahead of a cold front kind of thing where you can spike up real quickly just one day and it gets in the 60s. It's going to be like a 2-3 day kind of deal. So it's looking like spring is around the corner, my friends, and the Robins will be pretty happy about it, I think.
Yeah, I ask you every fall on the radio. I've asked you every spring on the radio, the time that we've spent together on the air. Is it time to get the snow tires off? Can I safely remove my snow tires? Do we have any storms in the crystal ball here that are coming?
There probably is, just because we got warm in parts of March. That influence can also, that's part of the yin, it can also go to the yang, and the yang would be a late season snowfall. But the late season snowfalls, and I'm talking, sometime in April or into May even, if they do happen, and we could get one or two of those kind of things where we, pick up a few inches of snow, it's melted out typically the next day. So it doesn't last very long. It's kind of like, oh, wow, look at that. It looks like winter again, and then boom, everything is out of here, and it's usually followed by even warmer weather. So I suspect, I have a hunch, I don't have any scientific information on this other than anecdotally what I've seen when we have these warm-ups like we've had in March. Typically we have the opposite effect of cool-downs in April and going into May, and those cool-downs sometimes can deliver snowfall because, after all, we're kind of backsliding into the old season, winter.
So maybe wait another week or so.
I'd wait another week, but here's the percentages are with you that you're not probably going to encounter snow, but if you do, you just want to sit it out because everybody's going to have their bald summer tires on or whatever.
Yeah, that's right. Weatheringheights.com, that's your website. Tell us about it.
Oh, it's just what I try to do is load the forecast and put up, current condition pictures, that kind of go along with it. But, it has a few things. I have a lot of broken links that I need to take care of, and I will definitely take care of it once I'm retired for my other jobs that I do, which is July 1st. but I'll probably get around to that shortly. So you may encounter some broken links on my website, Weathering Heights, but you will get the main stuff, and I upload that twice daily, weekdays. Weekends, I kind of try to take as much time off as I can because I'm always busy with so many other things. That's how it goes.
You're very passionate, not only on the air, but also you've mentioned on Weathering Heights, global warming. You're still, I'm guessing, very dialed into that.
Very much so. We're crossing some tipping points here that we're really not getting off the dime and cutting down on fossil fuels and with the business going in Russia right now. This is just my opinion. If you really want to, hurt Putler, as I call him, he's Hitler. Doesn't matter. If you really want to hurt him and you want to hurt what's going on in Russia, it's the greatest time you can, if you can afford to buy an electric vehicle. Get off of fossil fuels. You're saving the planet, and you're saving our economic system, and you're potentially saving a war of the future because they are clearly the evil on this particular side. Now, that's my opinion. My politics are Bernie Sanders oriented. That's who I am. And you know what? I ain't running and hiding from it.
Yeah, you never have, pal. You never have.
Never have.
We know right where you stand, my man.
And I want everyone to know where I stand because my conclusions, I put as much into that as I do my weather forecast. And I'm just trying to seek the truth. And you know how they say, the truth will set you free.
Yeah. Roger Hill, thank you so much for your time this morning, buddy. We appreciate it.
Pleasure doing it. Good to talk with you, JD.
That guy right there is one of the most recognized voices in the media these days. Vermont weatherman Roger Hill, who's dialed into our funky weather systems up here in the Northeast more than anybody. He's watching it very, very carefully. We're going to be on the road, aired out and about. A little bit later on, we're going to be visiting a couple of businesses in and around Berry City. So do stay tuned. We'll be joining the airwaves, rejoining the airwaves in just a little bit. I think we're going to run over to the Cornerstone today. I think we're going to also be, I don't want to lead on to exactly where we're going to go. We want to surprise you. So we've got a few that we'll be visiting a little bit later on this morning here on Aired Out. Our sponsors, every single one of them is right there in front of you. Our presenting sponsors, without them, we just simply wouldn't be bringing you the podcast. It's that simple. Live from the ASB Financial Studios, right at 185 North Main Street in Barrie, directly across from Nelson's. That's where we are, right in the window. And Fly on the Wall Productions on Main Street in Barrie. Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your day, and thanks to Roger Hill for joining us this morning on Aired Out.